This is assignment 11 in test prep, which deals with special right triangles. And oftentimes students have trouble with these. But if you will use what is given to you within the test, these are given to you on that front page where you can find formulas and notes. And basically all you have to remember is that if it's a 45, 45, 90, the legs are both the same thing. So you can label them both X, and then the hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times X. Position those around the triangle, those labels. And the same thing with the 30, 60, 90. So the hypotenuse is 2X, the side opposite 30 is X, and then the larger leg is the square root of 3X. And then from there, you just work on solving it. It doesn't matter that you have different letters. Focus on the labels and going with what you know. So X in this is 2 times the square root of 2. So that means that this leg here is 2 times the square root of 2. So we could start off with that B is 2 times the square root of 2. So what is A? Well, A is the square root of 2 times X. And X we know to be 2 times the square root of 2. Lots of square roots in this here special right triangle assignment. So when you punch that out on your calculator, you get 4 for that. All right, another 45, 45, 90. So here we are on problem 5. Position these around here. So we don't have, all we know is the square root of 2 times X is 6. So X is 6 divided by the square root of 2. Well, the answer key is going to make a huge deal. So this is really like 2 things in one. In dealing with rationalizing the denominator, which means that you multiply top and bottom by the denominator to get rid of the square root. So X is 3 times the square root of 2. These X's that are the labels. And then, so both sides are 3 times the square root of 2, and then 6 is the hypotenuse. So you can state that in the letters that they give you, which actually one of them was X. And then that's it. That's all you need to do to solve for that particular problem. So you want to stay focused on the labels that come with this here, and then just equate them to the letters in the problem when you're done. All right, problem 7. So in setting this up, the hypotenuse is always 2X. So this is a 30, 60, 90. And the side opposite 30 is X every time, 2X and X. And then the other leg is the square root of 3X, the leg that's opposite the 60. Just position those around the triangle. So what your object every time is to figure out what X is in the labels. Now the labels I'm talking about are the labels that come with these diagrams. So it looks like X is 8. So the 2X is 16, so we get X is 8. So in doing this, that means that actually side Y is 8 when we equate it back to what we're doing. And then side X is the square root of 3 times 8. Or 8 times the square root of 3, however you want to say that. So remember to keep straight your labels, get everything figured out, which the object really is, to figure out what X is, because then you can get everything in either one of these. You're really solving for X first. So X was 8 here. Let me highlight this. X was 8 here. And then in this, X was 3 times the square root of 2. And then back up here, X was 2 times the square root of 2. So your idea is to figure out what X is in this schemata. And then you can go and do anything else. But you got to get those positioned around the triangle correctly. All right, here's another one. So we got to verify it's 30, 60, 90. So 2x is the hypotenuse, x is opposite the angle of 30, and then square root of 3. So one of these, so look at, here's where we have the number. So we have the square root of 3x equals 12. So x is 12 divided by the square root of 3. So here we go again with, we have to rationalize the denominator by multiplying by the denominator, and it lifts so 4 times the square root of 3 is what x is. And I'll highlight that again. So then from there, you just use it. So that means that's what your y equals. And then your x is going to be twice that, the x in the original label. So once you get that figured out, you just plug it in all the way around and then equate it to the labels that are actually on the triangle. A little confusing. So you figure out the x, you go around, plug it in, and then you should be able to identify, relate it to the labels in the triangle. Typically on the on the SAT, the values are nicer, and the way that you figure this out is a little cleaner than the examples I just gave you. But label it, figure out x in the labels, and then equate it back to the labels in the triangle.